During the mid-1900s, there were a lot of things African Americans were not allowed to do in Omaha.
Well, the skating rink, black people could only go to the skating rink on Wednesdays. And then there were restaurants. Restaurants wouldn't serve you. There were restaurants like Harkett House. They wouldn't serve black people. There was an ice cream store called Reed's, and they had a little window over here where it said for colored only. And so my parents always said, you never, if they can't serve you like they serve everybody else, you never buy there. So most blacks didn't buy there, but you couldn't go in there. Most of the restaurants wouldn't serve you. Most of the restaurants downtown or around town would not serve you.
But they took advantage of the activities they could do.
Well, the Ritz was a theater where all black people went. It was the Orpheum, the town theater. So when you went downtown to the shows, you had to sit in the balcony.
We used to go on a lot of picnics. I used to love to go to Elmwood Park. Stroll down Lover's Lane, they call it.
We later began to roller skate at, I think it was Crosstown Theater. It was on 24th and St. Mary's, I think, or over in there. We did that a lot on Sunday evenings.
Because African Americans weren't allowed in white social organizations, they started their own.
They used to have several clubs. I belonged to the Socialite Club, and then they had different names of different clubs, and we would have them every year. Our club was a couples club called the Socialites. Me and my husband belonged to it. We had 9 members, and we would, would entertain, each person would entertain 1 month out of the year.
I later began to go to Camp Brewster, which is over, I think it's in Bellevue. And we would go there and spend a week at the camp. It was sponsored by the YWCA. That was always an event that I looked for. The Y Teens, which was for the young ladies of the time.
It was a social gathering. It was a place to come. We were taught to be leaders, that things would change. They wouldn't always be the way they were. And so we were taught to be ready. They wanted us to go to school, to go to college, and to also to get higher degrees so that we could be ready to assume those positions once those things opened. That our parents and the leaders of the Y at that time, said that they would march and be a part of groups that were going to change the way things were. And so that's what we learned. It was a place for fellowship. You learn manners and etiquette. You learn a hobby. You explore through pictures other parts of the world. So it was, preparing you for an adulthood. Taught you had cooking classes.
The social clubs created activities for the African American community.
It was a chance for anybody that was somebody, for every group to be in the parade. So there were floats, and there were marching bands, there were drill teams. It seems like everybody had a drill team. You need the Y, certain churches. Everybody had a drill team. So it was a spectacular event. Now the carnation was a big deal that they would have because a lot of things that we did, they just imitated what white folk did. And there was the Exarban carnation that was every year, and they didn't allow blacks to belong to Exarban, and you sure enough couldn't go there except for the races. So blacks out here formed their own group and had their own carnation.
The coronation that they used to have was sponsored by, I think it was St. Philip's Episcopal Church. And that was a ball that was an annual thing. It was more for the adults. However, they would use the children would participate in it as, for an adult, they would crown a king and a queen, and this would be someone that had made various contributions to the community through service and that kind of thing, outstanding service and that kind of thing. They did that annually.
Yes, there were dances like every Friday night, and the parents would be chaperones. And we'd have a dance every Friday night. And then there was a big, the main YWCA was downtown. I'm trying to think where it was located. What's there now? It was tore down many, many years ago. But the main Y was downtown. That's where we had the big ball, where we wear the formal dresses. And all of that was done to teach you etiquette and how to act in public and all that kind of stuff. That was very important in my generation, is how to act when you're outside of your home. And so that's what those gatherings are for.
There were some interracial activities such as sporting events.
When there were parties following the game, sometimes they were sometimes interracial.
Even in a world of racism and hatred, African Americans found ways to have fun and build community.
We would have a good time. Good time.